It was a true honor to be able to virtually meet the creator of the Tease, Miss Kelly Ehlers. This episode, you'll learn and hear from the babe herself how she, like me, also grew up in the beauty industry, went to university for public relations. Now she runs her own PR firm alongside her amazing team of the Tease and is the other half of a powerhouse couple between her and her hubby. This babe is legit goals. I really do admire her, and I am looking up to her to totally change this industry for the better. Listen and watch this episode of the BeautyPro podcast right now. Are you a beauty or barber pro looking for that push to do that thing you've always wanted to do, whether it's in or out of the salon, spa, or shop? Are you tired of not feeling good enough, smart enough, skilled enough? Are you tired of not getting a handle on your mental health, boundaries, and insecurities? I'm Krystine Sherwood, the Beauty Pro Coach, an internationally certified coach, a salon and spa owner, and your personal Jiminy Cricket. I use my own experiences, good and bad, as a salon owner to help you be more self-aware, authentic, and forward-thinking in your approach to life, in and out of the salon. It's time to reach your version of success with the Beauty Pro Coach podcast. Hello, you guys. I am so excited about our next guest. We have similar backgrounds, but you might have seen the Tease on social. And today we're talking to Kelly Ehlers, who is the creator, the founder, the boss babe behind it all. Kelly,
Love it.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. It's like the tables have turned. I'm usually the one interviewing, not the one answering the questions. So I'm like in the hot seat
I
today.
love that. That's so cute. Tell everybody, I only know what I only said what I know, but tell everybody who you are, your origin story.
Sure.
Let's go for it.
Okay, so I am a lifelong marketer. We talked about this before you hit record, but you're
Yes.
also marketer, PR. I wear two hats, and the hat we're going to talk about today is more on the Tease media side. But to give you a little bit of context, I started a social media agency 15 years ago at the precipice of when social started becoming a thing. The Facebook was around.
The Facebook,
The
I know.
Facebook. And we, fast forward the last 15 years, have worked with some of the most prestigious, luxury, incredible brands in the salon professional space. And you say, why salon professional? Well, it holds a secret place in my heart. My mom was a stylist and salon owner I'll back up. My mom was a salon owner for 40 years. It's a long time to be behind the chair, right?
Totally.
And so over the course of the years working in the space, we thought, you know what? We want to come to the table with a deeper journalistic approach to sharing voices within the salon professional community that need to be heard. Let's talk about things that maybe we're too afraid to talk about, or we haven't been taught that in beauty school, so it's passe, right? No, not at the Tease. We want to bring that journalistic integrity forward. We're not a pay-to-play entity, and we've done some incredible things over the last couple of years, and we just launched our first print issue a month ago. I'm going to send you one. It's a
Yes.
beautiful 100 pages, mostly editorial, and some great stories. So that in a nutshell is me, but it's a big nutshell, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's everything. I love that. Yes, send me a copy. I'm gonna share it with my team. I I just love that you're talking pretty much like the podcast. Like you're talking
Yeah.
about things like you're not really supposed to, but it
Uh-huh.
makes a huge difference. And you're doing it from a journalistic approach. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
I mean, you'll love that because you started in PR. I did
Yeah,
as well. I have a journalism degree, which is, I don't think I've ever said that out loud recently, but I guess it ties full circle all the way back.
totally, totally. Now, I don't know. I mean, we got the editorial, we got the prettiness, right?
Yeah.
To
Right.
attract our beauty and barber pros. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Do you feel like they're going to read it?
I do. You know what? I'm putting a stake in the ground that I think that all things old are new again.
Yes.
And I think that we need a beautiful coffee table type book to sit in the salons. And I think that print is back. And that could probably be a very unpopular opinion. But we're bringing it back. We think
Do
it
it.
deserves some cred, some longevity in our hands, in our
Yes,
physical hands.
I agree. I agree. There, digital is great and it has opened so many doors, but I love holding
I know.
a book. I love smelling it.
Remember back in the day when you'd get on an airplane and you have like a stack of magazines? You're like, I can't wait
Yes.
to get into this.
Yes, 100%. The Sky News. I love Sky News.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what all right, so you are in the industry, you are seeing
Yeah.
it. What do you feel growing up in this industry and even
Yeah.
now working in this journalistic space? What do you feel is like the trend of where we're going to be going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so interesting because even from like you peel it all the way back to when my mom used to have her distributor rep come in, like open up the bag, like here's all the new things. Like from a discovery perspective, everything has really changed, right? And that's because of social, digital, the distribution models too.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's an interesting change that we're self-discovering new innovations, new products, and that's coming to stylists and salons in a different way. You know, still the insurgence of the solo entrepreneur wanting to have their space. I think there's a lot of challenges with that because if you told me, "Hey, right out of school, you're now a business owner, so go figure out your P&L, your budgeting, your inventory, supply chain, and oh, how to market and how to get clients," I wouldn't have the first clue. And I do believe that beauty schools are not properly teaching these pros that are coming out the gate and running their own business. And so I do feel that that will continue
Mhm.
and that model from a salon perspective. And then, what I'm seeing from a brand perspective and working with a variety of brands is that their their strategy has shifted a little bit too, where they're going more direct to consumer. So
Mm.
they want to get that pull through where it's a beautiful, XYZ color brand ad or XYZ celebrity said, I just colored my hair with XYZ brand. They want that pull through to come to the salon and say, hey, do you carry XYZ brand? So we're seeing, the marketing shift a little bit to market a little bit more direct to consumer or putting more effort and budget there than just to the pro community.
That is so interesting that you just said that because I was just at Cosmoprof yesterday
Okay.
picking up some retail for a client
Okay.
that I actually have to call. So we're reminding ourselves here. And I asked them, I'm like, hey, do you have any more of this particular product? And they go, oh no, we're discontinuing the retail sizes. Immediately,
What?
yes, immediately for me, I was like, huh, that makes sense because the retail sizes are all at Ulta
You're
or
right.
or
Yeah.
whatever or
Hmm.
wherever else they are. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, deal for me because it's on like clearance, so that's
Yeah.
cool." But that's really interesting that you are seeing that
Hmm.
on your side.
Yeah. Budgets are shifting there. Where
Yes.
there used to be a stronger budget and investment to reaching the pro. And now we're seeing that spread out a little bit in that direct to consumer
Mhm.
because, a lot of the brands have a D2C site. You can drive them right to your own e-commerce. And so kind of cutting out a little bit of that middleman.
Mhm. What do you feel is the secret to success for these indie stylists, for stylists in general?
As far as their individual success,
Yeah, individual success, success in business as a professional.
yeah, I think it's that model of continuous learning. And I know that's probably kind of passe, like everybody says that, but there's so much changing and there's, the industry is changing, innovation is changing, product chemistry is changing, the market is changing. And I think COVID really taught us that,
Mhm.
right? That we need to have more eggs in a variety of baskets instead of just one. If something like a pandemic happens. So I think it's being open to learning and what I love about the salon professional industry, and I was telling somebody this the other day, is once you enter the salon industry, you'll never leave. You'll never
It's
leave
so true. It's so true.
because
I tried. It doesn't work.
right, it is because it's like none other. The sharing and the connectivity and the willingness to lend a hand and educate each other and peers is like nothing I've ever seen from a business perspective. A lot of other industries, you know, you'll have a peer that wants to kind of swipe you right out, your feet right out from under you. Not our beautiful industry. And so let's keep that momentum from a learning perspective. I also think it's smart to invest in um, business education, financial literacy too, because I think, you know, let's go back to high school. I don't know what high schools are teaching from a financial literacy perspective. What are they teaching in beauty school? Probably not much.
Mm,
But then you're expected to understand all of this and understand the accounting side and the things that I mentioned before. In business, with the two businesses I started, that was one of my biggest learning curves, honestly, was
mm.
that piece of understanding how that all works.
Yeah. Yeah. You have the teas and all like the
Yep.
different like on Instagram, you have like all these different like tease this, tease
Like,
that. I just love it. So there's that. And then you had evoke brand strategies, right?
yes, that is the agency side. And so the other hat that I wear outside of the T's is that we are a social media influencer agency and we've been around for about 15 years and working with a lot of different brands. So, yes, I had to learn the models from a financial perspective and the ups and downs of growing both businesses throughout the years.
I love that. What is your what okay, I know for me, in my experience, there was, growing up in the industry, there was that stark difference between working at a PR firm and like getting up every day, going to the office. It was kind of like the same thing all the time
Yeah.
versus the salon life. You grew up in
Mhm.
that. What
Yeah.
was your biggest like, oh my God, like I'm gonna do this? Like,
Yeah, I think, you know, watching my mom in the salon, I think the challenge there or that environment is that you're on all day.
yeah.
And I think that would be a total challenge and just completely like you have to be an extrovert or an introvert that's pretending to be an extrovert, right? And just make small talk and conversation and keep that kind of human touch all day long. And so I think that's a challenge. Why I went into the industry I did, starting off in journalism, is I actually wanted to be on TV. I was for sure going to be the host of Good Morning America or the next Regis and Kelly, like for sure.
So funny. I am cracking up
Yeah.
because yes,
Mhm,
exactly.
mhm. But I quickly
Okay.
learned that that is a kind of a roaming lifestyle to start and kind of shifted. So I think I have the best of both worlds now, a little bit of what my passion is, and then I get to apply that passion to an industry that I've grown up with and love.
I love that. Yes. So, oh man, yes, I completely understand that feeling. So what is that one thing perhaps that you have had to overcome to get where you are right now?
Yeah, interesting question. I think it's a lot, and I think that sometimes when you hit a level of success, people don't want to share all the pitfalls and things that you went through.
Mhm.
To be honest, I was telling again somebody this the other day. I never had a mentor
Mm,
all through this. And I think that is a huge learning and lesson that at that time, 15 years ago when I was starting, I think the openness to share wasn't really there from a business perspective and peer to peer. And so that was a challenge for me. A
mhm.
lot of what I've learned because I've either succeeded or failed drastically at it. So I think, you know, making sure that, let's see, what do I want to say?
Real
Just,
and raw, girl.
yeah,
Be real and
yeah.
raw. It's okay.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of
Yeah,
ups and downs for sure.
sure. What's a struggle that you're going through right now?
Oh, interesting. Let me think about that. Well, with the agency side, it's always scale and it's
Mhm.
always the market changing. So if you know, one of the things we're facing right now is the tariffs, right?
Yeah.
They're starting to actually come into play. A client yesterday was saying, "Yeah, we thought it was going to be a lot softer than it is, but it's coming in hard, these tariffs, and they're hitting us really hard." And so we're gonna see a lot more of that, and that changes budgets, that changes how people wanna spend with media, how people
Mhm.
wanna spend, on the agency side as well. So, That's a big one.
Yeah.
Budgets, tariffs, and kind of those things that are hitting us right now.
Yeah. How are you like maneuvering that as far as like getting your services out there? Because with that, it comes the consumer habits, they change too. So
Yeah.
now you got to think about the consumer habits and then your client and then you and then like how are you maneuvering that?
It's a tough one. I think from a business perspective, we want to be very diversified and make
Mhm.
sure that we're hitting a lot of different people, a lot of different clients, a lot of different media clients and brands out there. And then we've changed our pricing structure too from a media perspective. So you want to be in our print book that's coming out in December, it might have cost you X. Well, we're taking into consideration how those budgets have changed too, and really leaning in to still have incredible programs and advertising programs and assets that we're creating, but are manageable, and we're transparent about it. In
Mhm.
fact, we just sent out an opportunity for brands in the Salon Pro space, and it was like a tariff special, if you
That's
will.
so cute. Yes.
I mean, it was like, we see you, we know what you're going through, and
Yeah.
we know it's going to trickle down into the Salon Pro world and barbers.
Mhm.
So we're going to lean in here to still keep that awareness for you out there and keep your story out there. We're going to lean in, lower our costs because we know that your costs are being hit too.
Mhm. Absolutely. So with all of that, dealing with people, it is stressful, it is draining. And even with like these new things like weighing on us, are you nourishing yourself as a woman in business, professional?
I love this question because we're going to be real and raw here. And I'm going to totally out myself, but I did it on my podcast too. I have decided in I decided in 2025, it was probably only about 4 months ago to be honest,
Okay.
that I am totally switching the switch on my thoughts from a manifesting perspective. And I'm
Ooh.
slowing down. I'm slowing things down. I'm a mom of 2 kids, married, have 2 businesses, but I definitely take time for myself at night. I do not grind to the bone anymore. 2 things that I've been doing. One of them is I do you know that cardinals, the birds, are like a sign that somebody is like thinking of you, like somebody that
Oh,
has passed on? And
oh,
yeah, so my grandmother loved cardinals. And in my backyard, we back up to this bike path where there's these big, beautiful trees. And I started seeing these cardinals. And then I started taking joy in just sitting out there and listening to them.
love this so much.
And so I just take some time outside at night, think about my day, think about what I want for my life, for my next chapter, both personal, professional, all of those things.
Mhm.
And I listen to the birds.
I love it. It's Mary Poppins, like
I know
feed the birds.
my
Like
100%. My friends are like, "You're now Snow White." And I'm like, "I'll take it. Just the birds." So there's
okay,
that.
okay.
And the other thing is, it's about 2 years ago, my husband bought me an e-bike for Mother's Day, and I was like, "What's this all about?" Like,
A
I didn't
what
want
bike? An
an
e-bike?
e-bike, like an electric bike. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
"What's this all about?" So I finally my one of my sons is, like, super into working out. So one day he's like, "You wanna take a ride?" And I was like, "I'll dust off this e-bike I've never used." We've been going on bike rides for the last 2 months every night for an hour, just my 13-year-old and I, and it is so joyful. Again, stop, slow down, cherish the moments because they're going so fast, and enjoy the little things. So, bird watching and biking.
That is so fabulous. Like, it's so simple.
So simple.
It doesn't
No,
cost anything.
no.
You're building memories for your
Yes.
kid. Like, he's gonna remember that and be like, "My mom's
Remember
so
when we did that?
cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk for an hour, and so it's a little bit of me time, a little bit more family time, and I've convinced my other son to do it too. So, it's just been those things. That's how I'm nourishing me, and although it may sound like peak dorkiness, it's
Alright.
happening, and I love it. I love it.
Yes. Yes. Okay, here's another part. Like you have 2 businesses, you're a working woman in business, you got 2 sons. How is your hubby with all
Yeah.
of this?
My husband and I have always been of course, great relationship partners, but also great from a business acumen as well. He is the president of a really large home building company, so he's got a really big job as well. And we can sit down and talk business with each other. I'll
Oh.
say, "Hey, this happened," or "Can you look at this expense? Can you talk me through how you would handle this?" And the same for him too. And so
Mhm.
I'm really lucky in that regard that there is full support and understanding as well. Not just a, yeah, that sounds hard. Like, oh, try to get over
Yeah.
that. So I'm very lucky from that perspective
Good.
and have had a lot of support. We've also in our careers kind of ebbed and flowed. So when I was starting Evoke, during the heart of the recession, he took a job that he probably didn't really want to take, but he did it so I would have stability. So we could start, one of us has a stable income,
Mhm.
right? And the other one could kind of go. And then we've taken turns throughout our career too. And so that's been really nice from a partnership perspective.
That is beautiful. Like, I am just, like, overflowing with joy for you because
Thank you.
that is beautiful. Um, alright, so now we're gonna we're gonna take a turn. Like,
Okay.
what's your biggest insult that you've ever gotten that you are so proud that you got?
Oh, hmm. I've actually had a lot, probably a lot. And, I've got a persona on social media and I'm out there and there's a lot of haters. Like that just happens. And I think the more successful you become, unfortunately, you're in the spotlight more and there are more haters.
Mm.
I've had a lot of people think that I wouldn't make it. And that's probably a pretty big insult. And then I actually had somebody say on a podcast clip that I have the biggest head they've ever seen in the world, meaning like a physical head.
Are you kidding me right now?
And
Like,
I thought it
yeah,
was hilarious. Yeah.
like, thanks. There's nothing
So
I can do about that, so okay.
there's a lot in there, girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like,
that one's kind of ridiculous, but I kind
yeah.
of hit me because I was like, what? Oh, shoot.
Oh, there goes that.
There
Okay.
goes that.
Alright. So then wow, that sucks. So, what do you feel is, like, a strength or a trait that somebody
Yeah.
needs to have to push through all that, to succeed?
Yeah. My motto has always been, can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, girl, go.
Okay. My my motto has always been figure shit out. And in my office, I've got this big sign that says figure shit out. And it originated from my dad. He is also an entrepreneur. My mom is too. They're risk takers. I grew up with that like my whole life. Like just
Mhm.
gamble it, do it. We're going to crush it.
Yeah.
And so failure for me isn't really an option because that figure shit out mentality happens every day. When I was starting the social agency, there was no playbook. Nobody had started a social media agency. Nobody knew what the Facebook was. Nobody knew what Twitter, Foursquare, all those crazy platforms that were out there. There was no navigating, there was no blueprint. And so we would get off the phone with clients and be like, they're like, "Can you do that?" We're like, "Yeah, yes, absolutely." And we'd hang up and be like, "Does anybody know how to do that? We're gonna
Yeah.
have to figure shit out." And so that has been something that has carried me throughout both businesses is like, let's get in, let's grind it out, let's figure it out because there's a solution and approaching it with positivity.
That I am hearing that more and more, like, within my own family, like, "Oh, guess we gotta just figure that shit out. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll figure it I don't know. I gotta do it
we're doing
again."
it.
And I'm
Yep.
hearing it in the business space, and I'm hearing it from you now, like, okay, like, I am taking signs from the universe, like, "Alright, we'll do it. We're figuring shit out. It's cool. Thank you for sharing."
Yes, you're welcome. It's keep it in your mind. Keep it in your mind
Yeah.
next time that you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, just sit down, think about a logical plan, have a high level of emotional intelligence, and say, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And you will.
Yes. Yes. Who are your top 3 most influential people for you?
Oh, I would say if I have to wrap, my mom and dad, let's wrap them into one because
Mhm.
it's hard to peel them apart, both for different strengths,
Mhm.
but really giving me that work ethic. I grew up on a farm in Iowa. And
Okay,
yeah,
I was not ready for that. And then where are you right now?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. All
Mhm.
right, continue,
Which is a
sorry.
beautiful city. Um, so I grew up on a farm and, we would have to do chores before and after school. Like that was just what we did. And so there was no like taking a nap on a Saturday. There wasn't any sleeping in. We were always doing something. And so that intrinsic motivation was programmed in me from the get-go. And I didn't always like it, but I did it. And so that's from my parents for sure.
Mhm.
Um, Another very important person to me happens to be someone who I was lucky enough to hire as my first hire at the Evoke agency. And she's still with me today, 13 years later. And I, with Evoke and the Tease, would not be where they are today without her. Hands down, one of the most brilliant people I've ever worked with, and a true, true blessing that she
Mhm.
came into my life. And I consider her, a business partner and confidant and all of those different things. And then, I suppose I will say my husband as well, right? We talked about that, like
Yeah.
the business acumen and that support that he's always given me, because there's definitely been times with both entities that were like, should we just fold this up?
Mhm.
Should I just stop and call it? Be like, we tried, I'm out.
Yeah.
And again, that support and companionship and love from him is great.
That is everything. That is everything. What okay, you have these 2 businesses, like, how how are you gonna know that you've made it? Like, what's that marker
Yeah.
for you?
You know, I think a lot of people would say money, but I'm not intrinsically motivated by money. Of course, everyone likes to have as much as possible, right? That's a no-brainer. But, on the agency side, I feel like, there is a sense of we have made it because we've worked with so many incredible brands and we're just a small female-run agency that can knock down the good old boys, and that's a win. That's a get for me.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And it's that the agency is running without me and the Tease. So if something happened to me and I was gone tomorrow, the systems and process and people are all in place that the businesses are very successfully running, without me being overly involved, without me being a total micromanager, and without me being incredibly stressed out. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of a pinnacle from a business perspective. It's like, all right, like the engine's running, we're going. Like we
Cool.
drop in a new client, we drop in a new media partner brand, and off we go. The systems are in place.
That's so cool. Who are your top 3 people that you want to work with in the teas, like, from the beauty
Yeah,
industry?
everybody, because I think this is an opportunity.
I know.
Dang it. You know, I would love to again work with Sola. So they were an Evoke client when they just started.
Mm.
And we worked with them for a handful of years, and now they're obviously a monstrosity in the industry. And so I'm going to put that out there. We're going to manifest that one. I would love to reach more independent stylists as that market continues to grow. And I think that that would be a real win for us for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. I can't crack the code on Wella.
Okay, there we go. There we go, the 3.
I'm gonna put it out there too.
Love that.
And then, one that I think is doing incredible things and we are blessed enough to work with is Amika. And Chelsea Riggs over there, the president, and Ruben Carranza, kind of the leader of the multiple teams there. I've known him for many, many years, and I think they're literally crushing it in the market. So the
Oh,
more we can share about Amika, the better too.
I love this. I am, like, so inspired. I'm like, "Ah." Okay, so all right, so there's that side. Now, you've been in the industry for a while, you know that there have been others before you, and now they're, like, doing these big events and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and
Oh yeah.
what about the teas? Like, what is in the plans, if you can share?
Absolutely. So I think you were referencing our competitors from a trade media perspective.
Sure, yes.
And we are vastly different than them. Our approach from a positivity and boosting the Salon Pro up on a pedestal is
Mm,
where we're at, and we
love
will always be there. And so, what's next for the Tease? The printed magazine was a huge endeavor. 100 pages,
it.
almost 95% editorial. We'll be launching our second issue in December. So that's both a lot of editorial and manpower, but it's also a significant financial investment from the actual printing and distribution of the magazine. So that's going to continue on. And then also the programs when you're working with the Tease, this was a big differentiator. In the past, we saw our competitors working with our clients and they weren't getting any return on their investment. They just spent 20 grand on an e-blast, a banner ad, and this. And what did it drive? What were the results? And when we were when on the agency side, we're like, this is crazy. Like, we as an agency have to prove our KPIs and our metrics. Why don't these media brands have to prove their KPIs and metrics? And what is the return on the investment? And so at the Tease, we actually prove our worth. And we actually say, hey, for this investment of $5,000, we generated X million of impressions, X hundred thousands of clicks to the website, and here's why we are of value to you. And so that's a really big differentiator, and we're going to be seeing a lot more programs like that pop up. And then we have been testing and learning some micro events. It's called an evening with the Tease. We did one in Chicago around America's Beauty Show, and we think we need to get the industry back together in even more of an intimate way versus a
Mhm.
big giant pool party. We want to get to know everybody and get to know influencers. And it was interesting during this event. We had about 60, 70 people there,
Mhm.
and some flew in for it, influencers, Chicagoland area. But it was kind of interesting because they had never like all really connected. Let's just say it's like the top 10% of influencers in our industry. And it was almost kind of awkward. They're like, "Hey, I know you, but like I only know you on Instagram, like or I know you on TikTok." And so
Yeah.
that real human connection of connecting people was really beautiful because they were sharing again and learning from each other and having that beautiful human connection. So I do believe that there's a portion of eventing that is going to come a little bit more full circle for the Tees as well.
That is so cool, especially the discovery that you made. We're
Yeah,
so busy with our phone, like
right,
influencing, that we're forgetting to connect. We need to
right.
get off the phone at some point
Yeah.
and connect with people who are doing the same thing. Everybody has their own, audience. So, oh my gosh, what a cool thing.
Yeah, it was interesting because one of the top premier barbers in the barbering industry,
Mhm.
I won't say his name, but top, was kind of, just kind of like shy, like a little bit to the side into the corner. I was like, does everybody know who that is? I mean, and then I was making introductions because other people were a
Yeah.
little bit too shy to go talk to him too. And so they're like fangirling him on the socials, but in person, COVID did that to us that we're kind of
Yeah.
like, and so that discovery was really interesting from a human touch and that intimacy and connection perspective.
Yeah. You see, like we gotta humanize
Yes.
everybody. That is so interesting. Mind blown. Okay, so how can people get the copy? How can they get the magazine right now?
Yeah, so you can head over to thetease.com, and there's a sign up form there that we will mail you a printed by the Tease. That's what it's called, printed by the Tease magazine. And then we'd love for you to follow us on all of our socials. At Read the Tease is our handle on all of the channels. And so give us a shout out. And then I'm going to put this out there too. I think last year we had over like 200 contributors to the tease.com and to printed by the Tease. And contributors, I mean writers and stories that were out there. So if there's anyone listening that's like, I want to be a writer for the Tease, I want to submit, do it. Let's
I
do it.
do. I want to.
Okay,
Okay.
do it. We will take your content all day long and we will publish it, run it through our editorial, all those good things. But we want stories out there that haven't been heard. So
Mhm.
even if you think I don't have a great story, I'm just little old me behind the chair. No, no, no. We want to hear we want to hear your perspective too. And
Yeah.
we want to share with our audiences. So, hit me up at Kelly Ehlers, Ehlers, or at Read the Tease and send us a note. Say, hey, I heard Kelly on this podcast and I want to write for the Tease.
Yes, I count me in
All right,
100%.
you're
I want
in.
to do it. And we're gonna have that information in the show notes, okay? So if you guys are watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever, that information is in the notes. Um, so cool. All about connection, and I'm here for
Yeah.
it. So, um, what is whether you're working in the journalistic space or the beauty industry, they're kind of the same. Would you say they're a little bit
There's
similar?
a lot of creativity in both,
Totally.
for sure.
Totally. Okay. So, what is the one lesson that you personally have learned in that you wish that everybody else would just get it?
Yeah. It's definitely to never burn a bridge.
Oh,
This
that's a good
industry
one.
is incredibly, incredibly connected
Mm.
because we don't leave, right? So I
Right.
was a nobody 15 years ago when I started, didn't really know anyone, but the peers that I met 15 years ago are now the Ruben Carranzas heading up Amika. You know, they're over here at Paul Mitchell running Paul Mitchell. And so the journey that you take, and even if it's, you know, behind the chair and you're in a town or a city and still making sure that you approach things with positivity, even if you've been burned, take the high road. And one of the keys to that is emotional intelligence. And I don't think we
Mm.
talk about emotional intelligence enough because when I was young in my career, because I've got about 25 years in the industry, in the marketing industry, and I would be like, "I could do that better. Like, what's she talking about? I should be running this place." No, no, no. Having that high level of emotional intelligence to say, "Okay, I do have things to learn, and I'm gonna approach this in a
Mhm.
calm manner," I think everyone
Yes.
can learn from for sure.
Yes, 100%. All right, with that, I'm sure
Mhm.
somebody's like, "Okay, emotional intelligence. Okay, how do I do that? How do you learn that?"
I mean, I would probably do some research on the internet, read a book about it. I for forgetting what the book was that I read. I'll tell you, and you can put it in the show notes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, it's a good question. I don't have the total answer to,
Well,
but I
because
mean, it's a theory that you need to put into practice mostly, right?
right.
That you're kind of rise above the noise and the clutter. You don't react immediately if something is good or something is bad or something is good. You kind of take a breath. All right, let's soak it in. And you notice
Mhm.
sometimes the quietest people in the room might have the most to say, but they're absorbing the information
Mhm.
and making a calculated response versus just being heard.
Yes, that right there. That's powerful right there. So we're wrapping up. I mean, time
All
is
right.
flying and it's so unfair. So so what is one question that did not ask you that you wish I would have,
Hmm.
and how would you have answered?
Oh, ooh, that's a tough one. What didn't you answer? What didn't you, let's see, ask me? Hmm. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a hard one.
Okay.
Can you think of one?
Like I feel
I think
like
we
we
covered it. I mean, I think it's
yeah.
about, you know, what is the basis of the teas? And I mentioned that, you know, from we want to put the salon professional and the barbering professional, the aesthetics, nail techs, all of them on a pedestal. And from your grandfather to your guidance counselor, we want them to know that this is an incredible, viable industry. And
Yes.
that's the mission that drives us. Because I think there have been times where it's like, oh, you're just going to go to, you're just going to, you're going to, can you make any money? Yes, you can in
Mhm.
a lot of different ways. Whether you're a brand educator, you work for a brand, you're behind the salon, or you're behind the chair, you own the salon, right? Or
Mhm.
you're working in an industry adjacent to it. So again, grandfather to guidance counselor to know that this is this is a viable industry that you can become wildly successful at.
I love that. Like, I just got back from a hair show in Tennessee, and I am pleasantly surprised to hear that we are so like aligned on the same mission. Like,
Yeah.
I have I have a hat and a saying, and when I was teaching, like, we are not just a hairdresser.
No.
We are a professional. And for me personally, I get a little crazy here in the salon when clients come and they ask my team, "So, did you have to go? You didn't have to go to school for this, right?" Like,
Right.
I come out of nowhere and I say,
Yeah.
yes, she
Mhm.
did. And
Yeah.
this is how much it cost. And you're a lawyer and you're a doctor and you're whatever. Like, I get a little crazy with it, but I am so happy to hear that this is your mission. This is
Absolutely.
amazing. Oh my goodness, Kelly, any final like thoughts, comments that you want to get out there? Like, this is your time.
I mean, let's, come and join us at the
Yeah.
Tease. Come and let your voice be heard. Come and join on our podcast. Because again, the more stories we have out there of success, of failure, of opportunities, of avenues where we can go in this beautiful industry, the better. We're for education and awareness to, again, prop up the pros
Oh,
in the industry.
I love it. Thank you, Kelly, for
You're
being on the
welcome.
BeautyPro podcast. This was so fun. I don't want it to end, but alas, it
Here we
has
are.
to. So, you guys listening, watching, go follow all things the Tease.
Yes.
And check out Kelly. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Absolutely. That's a wrap with the fabulous Kelly Ehlers of the Tease. Isn't she great? Like, don't you want to be a part of everything they have going on? Right? Make sure to check out the show notes, tap the links, get more involved with the beauty industry. A huge thank you to Kelly for coming on the show. You're the best. And honestly, like, I cannot wait to work with you sooner rather than later. So let's make it happen. But that's it for today, you guys. Thanks so much. If you loved this episode, subscribe to the Beauty Pro podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave your reviews, stars, feedback so I can continue to bring the content you deserve and want most. Your feedback fuels this podcast. The more you give, the more you get back. You can follow me at The Beauty Pro Coach on Instagram and Facebook. Want to contact me directly? Email me at befree@goldentruthcoaching.com.